to be with you here today to talk to you about maximising your virtual impact. And so you'll see in chat, if you can open the chat box, you'll see a link to the handout for today. So go ahead and find that link. And if you have difficulty, just let us know in chat and then we can certainly post it again. But you'll see the link to the handout. So make sure that you've found that link, download it. And if you've got a printer next to you that you can quickly print it, then that would be good as well. While you're doing that, let's go through the session aim. And today, what I want to do with you in this really highly interactive hour, I'm hoping that by the end of this, you should be able to identify practical techniques and tips to boost your presence and impact at virtual presentations, meetings, and interviews. So this is all about you really becoming, as we said in the beginning, more professional, more successful, and more influential, whether you're on a Zoom call, whether you're doing a training course, whether you're doing a presentation, whether you're at a job interview, wherever you are on the other end of a Zoom call, any sort of live meeting at all with Teams or whatever, this is all about you. So what I want to find out firstly is where in the world are you? So can you type into chat, firstly, where you are in the world? Just pop that into chat so that we can see that. And here we go, we're Connecticut, Arizona, Europe, Kentucky, Florida. Wow, you're everywhere. Look at chat going wild. Oklahoma, Nevada, Pittsburgh. Wow, okay, Tennessee, fabulous. You are all over the place. Everett, Washington, what a beautiful place that is. Virginia, Georgia. Okay, California, Belgium. Oh, Nadine from Belgium, Indiana, Texas. Okay, fantastic. So you're all over the place. So I'm located in Melbourne in Australia. And as we said before, Melanie Barn, who's with me today, is that if anything happens to me, Melanie will take over, and Mel is in Europe. So you're from all over. It looks like we've got some people from outside America as well, but also inside America. And here's the big question for today. If you once the COVID-19 pandemic passes, and let's hope it passes soon, where in the world would you like to visit? If you could go anywhere instantly, where would you like to go? So pop that dream state into chat. Where would you like to visit? Free ticket anywhere. Oh, now we've come out of America, haven't we? Montreal, New Zealand, Italy, Dubai, Bali, Bora Bora, gorgeous Ireland, Egypt, Africa, Switzerland, El Salvador, that sounds cool, Greece, Thailand, England, all over the place. So it's really interesting that you were really quick to do that. Well, in today's session, you're going to be global because we've got people from all around the world with us. And with a Zoom call, you can go anywhere. So in today's session, here's what we're going to focus on. If we go back to our aim, this is all about these practical techniques and tips and to really boost your presence when you are doing any type of virtual session. So we're going to break today's session into three. The first thing is boost your professionalism. How do you boost that professionalism? Even if you're not feeling too great or too confident, I'll share with you some tricks about doing that. Second thing is increase your influence. So if you're in any type of meeting and you want other people in a virtual environment to be doing something different, maybe you're doing a presentation where you want them to take action. Maybe you're on a job interview where you want them to hire you. Maybe you're doing some sort of training workshop where you want them to take action and apply what they've learned. I'll help you to increase your influence on this type of virtual environment and also strive for greater success. What are some of the tricks of the trade? And I've been doing this for a really long time. And if I can share some of my disasters with you and some of my tips and tricks and traps, hopefully you won't fall into those disaster zones that I've had to deal with and get out of. At the end of today's presentation, we have set up a special offer for NCU for leading virtual teams, which is the book that I wrote and published just at the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic back in April of last year. And that's leading virtual teams, and that's managing from a distance during the coronavirus. So I'll tell you where you can get that at a super discounted rate later on. But I want to check in with you and firstly turn the spotlight onto you and have you think about your confidence level to begin with. So in chat, on a rating of 1 to 10, what is your confidence level for presenting virtually? 1, you're not confident, you just detest it, you're nervous, horrible, and 10 is confident. Where are you? I don't mind what number you put in. Let's have a look at them. Lots of 7 and 8s, lots of 5s and 6, a few 1s coming up, zipping past in chat. Brilliant. Okay, so number 6, number 4, number 8. Okay, so you're all over the place. So let's think about this. What would help you to move up the scale? So if you just said you were at a 1, what would help you get to a 3? If you were at a 6, what would help you get to an 8 or a 9? If you said a 9, what's going to help you to get to a 10? So just pop that into chat. What would help you to move up the scale? Pila says, first comment in, how to look more beautiful. I'll show you some tricks, Pila. I can take 10 years off you in Zoom in no time flat. Okay, planning, how to be farther away from the screen on the laptop, okay. Practice and subject matter expertise, technology, being more prepared and having a good presentation, competency with technology. Isn't that a common thing that we see? And hearing yourself and seeing yourself, okay? All right, I'll help you with that. This class, thanks Darcy, and software and tools, Brittany, taking back control of the meeting when someone goes down a rabbit hole. Okay, we'll talk about that. Experience, more practice, looking into the camera. Okay, that's a big one. And comfortable hearing my voice. Okay, so Janine, you've had your voice a whole life. We just need to get you to that next step. And looking into the camera while looking into the screen pillar as well. Okay. So we're going to take 10 years off your pillar and we're going to get you looking into the screen. Okay, so if you had to say what is your biggest challenge area, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, what is it? Is it number 1, what to present? Is it number 2, how to present? Is it number 3, the technologies and tools? Is it number 4, getting interaction and engagement? Or is it something else? So what number is it? Okay, lots of 4s are spinning past. Loads of 4s, and make sure that you are sending your chats to all panelists and all attendees as well so everyone can see it. So just make sure that you've got that switched on. Lots and lots of 4s around interaction and engagement. Let's focus on that today. There's loads of those coming up, 2 and 3s as well. Okay. So the upshot is I want to put up this quote from the Dalai Lama, and this is around calm. Calm brings inner strength and self-confidence. So that's the very important for good health. Now, I'm sure what the Dalai Lama was really talking about was, in fact, Zoom calls. I'm sure he was, even though he probably wasn't. I think he might have been. And so what we need to do is work smart to prepare and deliver great presentations. And that key word is prepare. What I'm doing right now is the easiest thing I can do in the world because I have prepared over the last week for today, okay? And in fact, I've prepared for the last 30 years for today, to show up today. But whatever happens, it's important for me and you when you're presenting to be calm and confident, no matter what happens. And I'll share with you later some things that go wrong. So let's talk about coming back to basics. What's the difference between virtual and in-person? So what is the difference? If we think about a traditional presentation, one that's in a room, in a meeting room, in a training room, in a boardroom, wherever it is, and you're geographically co-located, so you're together, what are the elements that make up a great presentation? So put that into chat. So what are the elements that make up a great presentation? And make sure again that you flip that switch over the drop down box to all panelists and all attendees, because we want everyone to see your answers. Okay, so speaker confidence, speaker has charisma, audience engagement, capturing and holding attention from Alicia, eye contact and rapport, scanning real-time in-person feedback from attendees, like what I'm doing now, interaction from all the people that attend, icebreaker, visuals, mutual respect, ed tech integration. Great. So all of these things come up to make that play. Interaction engagement from Anthony, eye contact, feedback, verbal, Q&A. So then let's switch gears here. And Chidi just said visuals as well. Let's switch gears here to, sorry, let me just change my chat over. And Darcy said information that's accurate, engagement, capturing good background, opportunity, and interact. Great. And so the switches this is what are the elements now that make up a great virtual presentation. So let's flip this. So into chat, let's think about what makes a great virtual presentation. Do the same thing. Type that into chat. So Darcy says it's the same thing. Maintain engagement and interest. No technology failures. Okay, that's the dream. The speaker is not a distraction. Visuals. So everything's the same. And it in fact is. So why does it all go wrong? I think it goes wrong because we've come to terms with this term called webinar. And a webinar has become this thing that we go to view and listen. And so if we think about a meeting, we don't walk into a meeting room and just sit there and listen and walk out. And yet we're kind of used to that now in this thing called a webinar. So I want to break that apart and say, let's not do a dull and boring webinar where your participants just come in and view and listen. And you as a speaker are talking to effectively a brick wall, not even knowing if anyone's out there. The first biggest tip of all, and you'll see a place on your handout there if you've downloaded it, I'm going to give you a whole series of tips. And you'll see them when they pop up, they'll be on red screens. And on page 3, there's a place for you to write those or just make a note of them as we go through. The first and biggest tip of all is stop thinking that there's any geographical distance between the presenter, you, and the participants. Imagine that you are in a room just like you are in a co-located environment. That is the first thing. You need to connect early with your participants. So let's have a look at how you do that. The first thing is boost your professionalism. Now, as we go through this, refer to your handout because these tips are in there and also some more as well around this boosting your professionalism. The first tip to write on your tip sheet is get the room set up right. So let's come back to you into chat. Before a virtual presentation, how many minutes prior to the session, the presentation, the session, the training, the workshop, do you arrive? So how many minutes before a virtual presentation on Zoom, Teams, whatever it is? Okay, Gabriella, you said 5. Kenitra, you said 15, 5. Pilar says an hour, 15 minutes, 1 to 2, 5 to 10, 10, 30, Okay, off we go. Look at those all coming up in chats. Make sure you're sending your chats to all panelists and attendees. 15 to 20 minutes, 15, whatever. Okay, now let's switch gears here and think about when you are in a geographically co-located presentation, you're with them, you're walking into that meeting room. How many minutes before that presentation do you walk in as the presenter? When do you walk in to set up? Okay, so a few different responses have come up here, 15 to 30 minutes. Now I'm not seeing kind of so many 5 minutes. So why the difference? Just remember that you need to stop thinking that there's any difference between you and the geographic location of your participants. If you walk into a meeting room 30 minutes before, open Zoom up or whatever you're using 30 minutes before. If you walk in an hour before, open Zoom up an hour before. Then get yourself set up, get completely ready to go, then go and have a coffee, get a water, go to the bathroom, have that glass of water 20 minutes before you start. That works to your vocal cords. It takes 20 minutes for water to get to your vocal cords. So do that. So you can absolutely stop thinking that, hey, I'm going to join at the start time. always be first online. No matter, even if it's a meeting, always be first online. The other thing is to get the setting right. So how do you do that? How do you get your virtual setup right? The first tip that I want to share with you is to clear the clutter and distractions from your desk. So clear your desk. Don't have, the dead tissues there. Don't have all your notes. Don't have yesterday's sandwich sitting there. Clear up the clutter. And you only have to dress from here up, okay? It doesn't really matter whether you've got Ugg boots on and track pads below. For me, it actually does. I wear on Zoom what I wear to work in a business environment. I dress for success. So make sure that when you are going to the bathroom before your meeting or your presentation, look in the mirror and go, do I look professional? And if not, add something, do something to yourself to make yourself look better on screen. And then also with your room setup and support calls, make sure you plan ahead. So let's have a look at an example here of Mario. Back into chat. Here's Mario on the screen. Let's have a look at his setup. What's he doing well? So put into chat, what's Mario doing well? So let's find out, look at him, what's he doing well? He's there ready to present. He's smiling. He's got a clean desk. He's got some water. He has water. Brilliant. He's sharply dressed, says Melody. He's ready. He's got no clutter. He's smiling. His chair is leveled. He's well dressed. He's sitting posed and so on. Okay, so he's doing all those things good, right? He's looking great. What does he need to change or fix? So let's put in what's up with Mario. What does he need to change or fix? The background, okay? He's in an office, says Linda. So he needs to go to a quiet room, says Karen. That woman behind him is a potential nightmare. She could do anything. Her phone could ring. She could get up and walk across the room. She is a nightmare waiting to happen, okay? So Mario needs to get into an isolated place, says Amanda and Darcy. And so that's a few things. Also, Mario has no notes in front of him. If his screen, if something goes wrong, he needs to have his phone next to him off, but he needs to have the Zoom link to link via phone or the phone number to call in and then go manual. So always have your presentation printed out and the phone number of the Zoom call next to you so that you can phone in and do a call straight to without being on camera or without being on the Zoom link, okay? So Arthur says use one monitor. Arthur, I use 3. So here's how my setup works. I'm looking at the camera and on my screen in front of me, I have the presenter view from PowerPoint. There's a screen there that I'm not even looking at. That's the screen that you're seeing and that's my shared screen. So that's my other screen. On this screen, my third screen, I have Spotify up, ready to play music, and I have the handout so I can tell you the page numbers and where we're at. So I use 3 screens. One of my biggest nightmares is if I'm in a hotel room and I have to just use my laptop screen. Ugh, hideous. So try and get yourself set up with multiple screens. If you don't have a multiple screen, it'll cost you $50, $100, buy cheapest one you can from Amazon, have it delivered to you, beautiful, okay? But that will be the best investment ever to be able to have multiple screens. So lots of things there. Okay, so let's have a look at this photograph. You do not go into a meeting room with a bag on your head, and yet people go into Zoom calls and don't turn on their camera. Turn your camera on 100% of the time. If you don't look good before a meeting, go and get yourself looking good, okay? You don't go to work and be shoddy and shabby. So make sure when you're going into every meeting, you know, that whole thing, dress for success. You don't have to wear a Louis Vuitton, you know, scarf and a Chanel suit. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about making sure you look good enough to be on camera. Now, I'm okay with not being one of the world's supermodels, but I'll tell you a couple of tips later about why this is so important. The other thing that's really important are tech checks. And doing your tech checks is invaluable, not just once, but twice and 3 times. And if you refer to your handout, you'll see about testing audio, testing your webcam, and we'll do a bit more of that in a moment. Embracing technology. If you don't know how to use all the features of Zoom or whatever platform you're on, learn them. Annotation, on-screen annotation, things like sharing your screen and also chat. Make sure that you are good at all of that. It's just something to learn. Make sure that you're really good at it. And check and plan your delivery setup in advance, and use PowerPoint Presenter View or G Slides in Presenter View, and really get good at doing that. So let's do a deep dive into your camera settings. So the tip is to have your camera just a little bit above eye level, and you can adjust the settings for you. Now, Pilar, this is where you come in. This is my camera settings here, and you'll see a tiny little zoom feature here, and a tiny little settings here for the exposure and brightness. Now, every camera has this. If you knock that back by about 1 tiny notch, all of the wrinkles on your face will go, okay? I'm ancient, and just by adjusting my camera, just a fraction, not so I'm a blurred blob, but just a fraction, you'll look 10 years younger, okay? So that is my tip, and Pilar, that was for you there. Okay, so what is wrong with these people? Put this into chat of what is wrong with the setup of these people. What is wrong with these people's setup? Put that into chat. Okay. Their location, some of their locations are a bit dodgy, yeah. Too close to camera. Ruth, you're on it. They have to look down. So they have to look down, which means the angles are low. Jarek, you've got it. And the direction of the camera towards the face, okay? Here's the bottom line. I'm Australian. I can tell you how it is. No one wants to see up your nose, okay? No one wants to see this. So if you can see your nostrils, move your camera up, okay? So your camera needs to be above you. Now, if you're working on a laptop, get some books, get whatever you need to, get a box, and for your presentation, put that laptop up on a set of books or whatever it is. Get that camera up. When you test it, if you can see your nostrils, then it's too low, okay? That is my tip. Okay, all right, so no nostrils, no nostrils. I'm going to change the world with no nostrils because I'm sick in coronavirus of looking up people's nose. Just sharing that with you. So the tip is zoom in, have your head and upper chest clearly visible. If you're finding that difficulty, all you need to do, if you can't do that via your camera, just move your laptop or move your computer screen where that looks good. Okay, so that's our section on professionalism. If you want some more professionalism tips, these are in your handout. I wrote an article called 5 Delivery Essentials to Boost VILT Impacts, which is virtual instructor-led training. And my entire life is all around helping corporate trainers to train better and design training better. That's my real job. And so that's an article for you. And Mel just put that link into chat if you want to check that out. The ultimate in virtual professionalism is to join us for a certified ID9 professional training program. And Mel has also put the link into chat there as well. And that's also in your handout. So lots of extra resources there for you. So let's have a review. What has been something new or different for you to remember? So put that into chat from our section on professionalism. What are you going to take away and remember about your professionalism and boosting it? So Juanita says dress for success. Linda says 3 screens. Anthony's saying multiples. Adjust the camera. Darcy adjusting that camera so there's no wrinkles. It's great. Pillar says love the use of the chat box, putting numbers into it. Be early, Gabriella. Clean your desk, Ingrid. That's great. Get that spray and wipe out. Karen says drink water. Yeah, 20 minutes before. It takes 20 minutes for water to get to your vocal cords, to actually lubricate your vocal cords. So Karen, be on it. And then about 2 minutes before the session, Karen, go to the bathroom. Okay, I sound like your mother. Juanita says tech check, and Kathy says no clutter and arriving early. Brilliant. Okay, so, all right, let's move on to increasing your influence. So let's have a look at this section. The first thing I want to talk about is connecting with your participants so that you're not feeling like you're talking to a brick wall. And so how do you do that? Imagine that they're with you. Like I'm imagining that I'm in a meeting room now and I can see you all. I can't, but I can see you interacting and connecting with me in chat. So I feel like I'm talking to someone. And if you have difficulty with that, just have a little mirror. Here's the one I use, a little mirror. Like I got this from some Emirates flight or something, a little mirror, and put that up next to your camera and talk to yourself, okay? So use that little mirror trick to actually see yourself, and that might help you to connect a little bit more. And use their names. Like you've been hearing me use your name. I'm not doing that just because I feel like it. It's because I want to connect with you. Like I want you to feel like you're connected with me. So just connect and use people's names. And Mel, who's on the line as well, has a sticky, and Mel's going to smile here because she has a sticky little post-it note. Look, she's got it there. She has a sticky little smiley post-it note that she's always had. Like I've known Mel for many, many years. She has it up next to her camera. That's to help her to remember to smile, okay? So that's another little Mel trick as well. So the first thing is interact with your participants. You need to keep their attention. So if you think about basic learning methodology, in order to retain something and then to be able to apply it, the first thing you need to do is to have attention. Otherwise, without attention, there is no retention and there is no motivation and there is no learning application. So what you need to do is to maintain and deliver with attention and engagement. So how do you actually do that? Well, I've been doing that for the last half an hour with you. I created a model called the high performance learning model, and it's in your handout. And for those of you that are educators, trainers, professional learning and development folks who are on the line, you'll know that what you're about here is providing an environment that motivates learning from your participants and also providing learning support. And what we're trying to do is land every participant, every learner into the high performance learning quadrant where they're at max motivation and max support. That's what we want, right? Because we know that when they're in that high performance learning quadrant, they will apply their learning. And that's what we want. Whatever you've taught them, they will go ahead and apply it. So what we need to do though, before any of this, is to focus on attention. If you don't keep attention, you can't get anywhere near retention of information, let alone motivation or learning application. So the first thing, whether you're presenting, whether you're training, whether you're teaching, whatever you're doing, is to keep that attention and engagement. And one of the ways that you can do that is using breaks. So people say, oh, look, I don't have breaks. I just go for 3 hours straight. Crazy. If you have a break every hour, every 90 minutes, every whatever it is, the closer the breaks are, the better. What that does is people hear the word, let's have a break. And people go, ooh, break. I love break. I can get a coffee. I can go to the bathroom. I can make a phone call. I can do it. They're excited, right? They hear the word break. It's like Pavlov's dogs. Bang, they're there. And so as soon as they're there, their attention spikes. So what you do is slam in a review. Like, what's your number one hot tip? Okay, so that's easy. You can do that into chat. What's the key takeaway? Fantastic. You might do a pair and share, talk to somebody else in the group, send a private chat to someone else. What's your hot tip? Easy, right? Easy. You can do that today if you've got a presentation today. So the tip is here to include lots of regular breaks. Now you're going to say to me, Catherine, I don't have time for breaks. Yes, you do. In learning theory, what I refer to as self-accommodating. So if you give people a 3-minute break and say, I'm going to turn one song on, and by the end of this song, I want you to be back 3 minutes. That 3 minutes, what that does is re-energizes people's attention. You've slammed in a review before you go to the break. That means that they've done a reflection. That means their motivation is peaked because they've then taught themselves, they've said to themselves, hey, I'm learning something. So their motivation goes up. They take a break, and that 3-minute break then increases their pace of learning. So when they come back from the break, they're refreshed, they're learning faster. So the 3 minutes that you've had the break is self-accommodating. So whether you take the break or not, you're still going to take those 3 minutes, because if you don't take the break, what happens is people slow down, they get lethargic, their pace of learning goes down, yada, yada, yada. So take the break. And quite frankly, as a presenter, you need the break too, because what you can do is drink a glass of water in that 3 minutes, bang. And then you slam down that water, you've re-energized yourself, you've got those more moisture into those vocal cords, and then you're ready to go. So breaks are key. And people always say, I don't have time. You have time. The time is available for you. You've got plenty of time. We've all got 24 hours in the day. Use them. So the next thing is lead with power. Get organized and deliver with confidence. Even if you don't feel confident in your subject matter, that's absolutely fine. Just sit and present with confidence. And if you are brand new to the subject matter that you are sharing, tell people and say, I've just learned this system. I have just come onto this team, and here's where I'm at right now. And I'm going to share that with you. I don't know everything about this, but I'm going to share what I know, and together we're in it together. Be open with people. Just have that human-to-human connection. And also, there's a great video that we'll put the link into chat. It's not actually in your handout, but we'll put the link into chat, which is this Amy Cuddy video. And this has been viewed millions of times, and it's around your body language shapes who you are. So Mel's just put that into chat. Check that out after we finish today, and that will help you, because she talks about having this superpower, this presence and this body language that you can do. And it's an action power check. So we can do it right now, and think about, at any slice in time when you're presenting, ask yourself these questions when you're doing virtual sessions. What am I doing in this moment as a presenter? What's going on with my eyes? Am I looking at the camera? What's going on with my hands? What am I doing with my body? And what am I doing with my feet? I have this dreadful habit, and I'm doing it right now, which drives me mental, is I cross my feet under my chair, on my chair as I present. And look what happens when I'm just going to uncross them. I actually sit differently, and all of a sudden, all that power is coming up through my body. And now my voice sounds different. I can hear it. And so it's just the position of your feet. And yet, if I don't concentrate on that, I'm going to have them crossed in about 10 seconds, I reckon. So just focus on what's happening with your body and get into that power position. And how does that positively affect your participants? What's good about it is, if you are like head to toe in that position of confidence and body power, that will affect your voice, and that will affect how you relate to your participants. And what could you do differently and better to inspire your participants at that very slice of time? So if you want some more influence tips, then there's some links here as well to more reading that you can check out. and an article on influencing for opportunity, building a life of influence. That's the first one. And thanks, Mel, for putting that into chat. You can just click on that. Just click on these and then queue them up in your browser. And then you've got, have a coffee after the session and then take a look at all those. And if you're an educator or a trainer, if you're an L&D professional, then one of the keys is boosting your listening. If you boost your listening, then you'll boost your influence. And so another article is the science and secrets of effective listening for learning professionals. And also talking about the whole world of influence. If you want some more influence tips, I'm going to be speaking at the virtual conference for NCU is on June 15. I'm the keynote speaker, and you'll see the link in there into chat, and get onto that conference and I'll be with you, and I'm doing the keynote presentation for that. So I'm hoping that you'll all come along to that, and then we can share even more tips about shaping the future of virtual work and really being successful in this virtual environment. So let's review our influence section and our hot tip. We've got 3 hot tips there: connect with participants, interact with participants, and keep engagement and attention. Which of those tips are you going to work on? So 1, 2, or 3 into chat. 1 is connecting, 2 is interacting, and 3 is keeping attention. Or pop in another hot tip. Ingrid said, don't cross your legs as it changes your posture. Absolutely. Interacting, says Karen. Number 2, number 3, connecting, says Jarek. Interacting. Okay, this is all fantastic. So keep working on that. Every time you present, do one extra thing. Don't try and do 10 extra things in your next presentation. Just do one extra thing to build up that interaction, that connection, and keeping that attention and engagement. Okay, let's move on to our section 3, which is striving for greater success. So in this section, let's have a look at this word success. And one of the first things you can do is around your presentation structure. Now, in your presentation structure, this is a very simple flow, whether you're a learning and development professional, whether you're an educator, whether you're a trainer, whether you're a presenter, whether you're going for a job interview, whatever it is, then this is the structure that I would suggest. This is not the ID9 process. This is just a virtual, simple structure. So the first thing is we've got some simplified things into 5 main pieces. You've got the piece about when participants join the call, then the opening to every session, then when you present your content, when you review actions and next steps, and then closing your session. So when participants join, and I'll do some more on this in a moment, make sure that you engage immediately with them. Opening, making sure that you're connecting and engaging and getting their attention from the outset, but let's focus on how do you structure your content. In your participant guide there, you'll see this little breakout of the structure that I use. So I have in the opening, I have my agenda, which I showed you today. I then go into my first topic. However many topics I've got, I just repeat this focus. So topic 1, overview, and then I present topic 1, and then I do a review of topic 1. Now, if you want that to be something like I'm doing today, which is hot tips or whatever, that's fine. Or if you just want to give people the key points, that's okay too. And you repeat that cycle for every topic. So you go topic 2, overview, presentation, review, and then on to topic 3, topic 4, topic 5, however many topics you've got. And at the end, you do a final review of all your topics. So here's what I find. Even in very seasoned presenters and speakers, they just launch straight into the topics. They don't overview them. And so this whole notion of a global and specific learner is that you still have this structure of this overview, the big picture going down to the middle. Now, it doesn't matter whether your session is 2 hours long, 5 minutes long, 15 minutes long, whatever. This is still the structure to use. You just shrink it accordingly. And so you can do that in whatever time duration that you've got. So the key points are, out of that, arrive early, get set and arrive early. And before the presentation starts, do a personal welcome as people come in actually acknowledge that they're coming in. And if you've got 300 people, obviously you can't do that, but chat to them if it's possible, if it's a small group. And so actually be taking people off microphone and chatting to them. Check that they've got their materials ready, and support the participants through the audio and video settings. Make sure people have got their cameras on, and practice interacting. So just ask people to put a hello into chat or whatever. Okay, so let's switch now and do a session on really getting this design going with lots of interactivity, lots of engagement, and lots of innovation. And remember, we're focused on this high performance, and the step around that is maintaining attention and also that connection with your participants and interacting with your participants. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek from our ID9 certification program and a couple of things that I do, and I'm going to share with you the difference, a before and after. So let's talk visual aids. So visual aids are around things like having a presenter with static screens and just bullets of information and so on. Look at this exact same screen when I change the graphic. So that's exactly the same screen. So just the image has changed. Let's have a look at how visuals can really assist. So a plain screen that says visual assistance from this to that, to dropping in a photograph in the back, a professional photograph, not a dancing teddy bear cartoon thing, a professional photograph. So when you look at the side-by-side comparison, look at the difference. On the left, no one's really going to take any notice of that. That's a hearing aid, not a visual aid. But on the right, it's a visual aid because it's got colour and pictures. Let's have a look at another one. A bulleted list of information, which is a timeline, and an unrelated photograph. That arrow to the target has nothing to do with that product history, nothing to do with it. So then if you change that exact information and put it on a graphic like that, it immediately amps up the visuals and gets that attention. So side by side, you can see the difference. Now, lots of the presentations I go to look like this, right? Bulleted lists of stuff. People will just disengage. And so just rethink your slides and change it perhaps into something like this. Instead of option 1, 2, 3, 4 listed, we do option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. So side by side, you can see the difference. And the other thing too is when we were talking about you being the presenter, you are a visual aid. You are a visual aid. So think about what you wear. Don't clash what you're wearing color-wise with your presentation. Match that presentation. I'm not talking matchy-matchy, but just match your presentation so that your presentation is an extension of you, because you are the main visual aid. So how do you go the distance? So into chat, what causes you stress? So put into chat what causes you stress. Okay, time management, quiet audience. Okay, people at home, distractions, time constraints, Wi-Fi, feeling inadequately prepared, lack of engagement. Okay, or no audience response. All right, so you're responding to me and you've been doing that for 45 minutes. So if I can do it, you can do it. You can get this level of interaction, okay? One of the things that the biggest things that is people's headaches on this in this environment is when technology goes wrong. So what can you do to help? So audio issues, when the presenter has audio, or when the participants have audio issues, when there's video issues, when there's a delay, when there's interruptions or distractions. So my tips are, firstly, plan ahead, set up early, maximize success and minimize your own distractions, okay? So make sure that you're in a distraction-free environment. My other tip is have a backup plan always. So I have Mel as my backup plan. So Mel is in Europe. It's crazy o'clock for Mel, but she's here as my backup. I know when to quit and hand over to Mel. Mel knows when to come in. She has a copy of my slides, and I know when it's all going to custard and I have to reschedule. Okay. So at the end of the day, if the internet goes down for everybody, you have no choice. You have to reschedule, but you need to know when that happens. Okay. When to actually call it quits. And it's okay to stop for a minute and fix something. So the way I stop is I either call a break and I say, let's just have a break for 2 or 3 minutes and we'll come back while I fix this issue. That's perfectly fine. Or I say, let's do a review activity. I'm going to give you 2 or 3 minutes to have some quiet time to note down all your key learnings, to work on this case study, to work on this activity, whatever I'm doing. And then I say, let's come back. It gives me the space in time to be able to do that. And even if things are going wrong for you in any sort of technology, you can always ask people to write something into chat. That gives you 10 or 15 seconds for you to collect yourself. When participation goes wrong, you've talked about this, that when the participants are silent, when participants leave, they disappear. When participants are multitasking, and you know that, when participants have audio feedback, or participants are just being participants, okay? So my tips here are set very clear expectations for you to join early and interact and ask them to stay in for the full session. So make that really clear on your expectations. Have a backup plan and also make sure that everything's coming in for audio so that you can ask people to come off and you can say, let's just have a group discussion for that, come off audio, come off mute and have a group discussion. And use your video and audio to keep attention. So it's really up to you. As a presenter, if people are leaving or people are multitasking, it's generally because they're bored, right? And so if people are multitasking, you're not giving them enough to do. Humans learn very, very quickly and can take in a lot of information. And so if you right now are on your email, it means that I'm not capturing your attention. If you right now are doing something else, it means that I'm not capturing your attention. It's not your fault. You're bored and it's my fault. I haven't kept your attention. So no matter what happens with your technology, be prepared and be calm and be confident. So things bad go wrong. Things really, really badly go wrong. And one of the worst situations that I've had is I was in Switzerland. I was in a hotel in Switzerland. I was working there and I was in a hotel and I had to do a training program. And it was with my ID9 Platinum group, which is my highest level of certification in the ID9 certified professionals curriculum. So these people they've known me for 10 years. They've been through many levels of ID9 certification. They're top of their profession in corporate learning and development. They're really switched on. So I'm presenting like I am now. And in hotel rooms, I have to adjust things like lights and lamps and things to get light onto the front of my face. Like right now, I've got one of those halo lights, ring lights that I use. But in a hotel room in Switzerland, I've got to make do. So what I was doing is I was getting prepared and I thought, the light's a bit bright. So what I did was I got a pair of my black trousers out of the wardrobe and I threw it over the lamp to kind of dull down the light a bit. So anyway, I'm presenting and all of a sudden I'm presenting and I smell something that's not right. And I thought, what is going on? And my black trousers were starting to smoke and they were on fire. And I'm thinking, holy moly, like I'm in the middle of a presentation and now I'm going to be burning down the Swiss hotel. So I thought, what do I do? So on the surface, I had to keep calm. Meantime, out the corner of my eye, I can now start to see wafts of smoke, not fire, but wafts of smoke. And I'm thinking any minute this fire alarm's going to go off. So I said, okay, let's just now go to your journal and could you just write down a few key points there about what we've just covered and I'm like mid-topic, and just do that. So they did all that, and I said, I'm just going to turn my video off for a moment while you do that so you can really concentrate. Lie. So I turn my video off, I turn my audio onto the music, and then bang, I am like a crazy woman. I get the trousers, I run into the bathroom, I've got water into the sink. I'm then opening the only window that I had in the hotel room this much to let all the air out, to let the smoke out. And then I had like 2 minutes to do all of this. And then I sat back down, took a big breath, took a sip of water, then came back and said, okay, so how did you go? And one of the participants said, you know what, Catherine, that was so good just to have that space in time, just to reflect. And I went, okay, you're welcome. Let's move on. Meantime, I had just diverted an entire fire brigade coming. So whatever happens, you can do it. Whatever happens technology-wise, you can always say, hey, let's take a break. Always have a slide in your presentation that says, let's take a break, okay? And then you can always flip to that slide when you need it, okay? Always have a slide set up ready with a cup of coffee on it with the words, let's take a break. Beautiful, because you never know when you're going to need it. Let's wrap up today with a final review, and let's go into chat again. What is the best thing today that you have learned to get you further up that scale to 10, okay? So what's this? I just saw this. Andrew says, I was at the Council Publics Work Committee when the Challenger exploded. Oh my goodness, Andrew, that is better than my fire alarm. That is cool. Okay, let's go to people's key points. Build-in activities, taking a break is okay. Maintain your posture. Always be ready and prepared. Add breaks, preparing as if you're in person. Slam in a review before the break, Karen. Pilar, there are more professional training resources I can improve as I re-enter leadership after my degree. Brilliant. Treating virtual like live, engaging the audience, having a backup plan. I like the music during a break idea. Add breaks. Beautiful, Nadine. Okay, lots of hot tips there. So now as you move forward, what do you think your biggest challenge is? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Christine's saying music is helping her engaging participants. So now what's your biggest challenge area as we leave you today? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Where are you at now? Okay, a few things to do. Oh, finding time to do it. Good. And being ready to engage. Great. Okay. All right. Implementing into the organisation, Brittany. Great. Okay. So, and as a final hot tip, if someone said to you, what tip are you going to work on immediately? What's going to be your very first thing that you're going to work on? Not in the future, what's going to happen today or in your very next presentation. Even if it's a tiny mini step, what's the very first thing? Linda says, multiple screens, adjusting the camera, brilliant. Extra monitors. Greeting people, great. Okay, cleaning up your desk, Kathy, brilliant. Okay, cleaning up your background. Nadine, doing some beautiful slides. Amanda, being prepared ahead of time. This is not hard. It's just you got to do it, right? It's just taking these little steps. So let's wrap up today. It's been a big hour with you. We've gone through tons, and let's have a look at these links for you. If you want more, then you've got this article, The 5 Delivery Essentials to Boost VILT Impact. You've got the article, Influencing for Opportunity, Building a Life of Influence. You've got the article, Boosting Your Listening, and really that's for everybody. That will boost your influence. Come along to the conference. Would love to see you there. But above all, be super calm and confident, no matter what happens. The participants never know what they never get. So if you have to skip a section, they don't know. Your audience never knows what they never get. You've just got to maintain that level of calm. Don't do that inside voice of, oh my goodness, I'm in a mess today, whatever. No, super calm, okay? So, I've got a tickle in my throat. And have plenty of water on standby.
Thank you, Catherine.
Okay.
great links in the chat. And just as a reminder that we did record this, so if you weren't able to attend the full event or would like to revisit it, I'm going to go ahead and put the link as to where we are going to post the recording in our Center for Teaching and Learning.
Right. And Claire, just before you go on and wrap up, we've set up a private access for everyone here as for the book for leading virtual teams, just for this group. The hardcover book on Amazon is $35.60. If you use the link in your handout or in chat, you can get this entire e-package for $9.95 for this group, okay? So if you want to get that leading virtual teams, then get that, and it comes with the companion workbook and a magazine as well with lots of virtual tips in it, okay? So that's it from me. I'll hand back to Claire. Thanks so much, everyone. You've been a fantastic group, and good luck as you go into this virtual world, and just knock them dead. Be fabulous.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Okay, so if no one has any more questions, feel free to drop off. There are a couple of questions in the Q&A asking about the certification that you were referring to.
Yep. We can perhaps, Claire, what we can do is I can do a quick look through. Is your book on Amazon Audible? I'm not sure. Go to Amazon, Amanda. What certification? Have a look at the ID9 link in your handout there. You can check out all the certification courses and the video available online. Yes, Claire, is the video available online?
For the video of this webinar, I think
yes.
That's what you're referring to, Karen. Yes, it will be in the Center for Teaching and Learning in our area. And
Linda says, are you using Prezi? No, I'm using PowerPoint. Okay, so that's just the questions in Q&A. Okay,
awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye.